It's just so different. It's like you cannot imagine what an apple tastes like until you actually taste a sweetened apple from a tree. My dad actually went to college at New Mexico State University to learn how to plant trees. And his dad was a farmer and his grandfather also was a farmer in the valley. My great-great-grandfather, I guess, had an apple orchard in Mesilla Park. And so my dad wanted to try growing apples because in the late 1800s, New Mexico in this area, in Mesilla, won international apple competitions for their apples. So he thought that he would be able to grow them and be successful. And so that's why he planted the apple orchard. That was 40 years ago. My dad, when he researched the apples, he felt like the best ones that would grow here were actually Red Delicious and Jonathan's, and then he grafted Common Delicious into the Red Delicious tree. The Jonathan apple is super delicious for people that don't like a sweet apple, but they like more like a Granny Smith. It's tart and it's kind of short and squatter, and it's able to self-pollinate. So we're able to always have a lot of Johnnies. So I call them little Johnnies. And what's really great about them is that they make the most incredible apple pie you've ever tasted in your life. They're just great. And at our elevation that we're at, it's actually the best apple for apple pie. It's better than a Granny Smith because it'll bake evenly and it won't be watery. So it's awesome. And so what happened was, over the years, without pruning the apple trees, we started having branches grow out near the trunk of the tree instead of just growing up high. And so now we have apples literally that are so close to the ground that a baby could crawl up and pick their own apple. So it's just a super place for families. When we have the orchard mowed really well too, it's so beautiful and people can walk in it. It's cool, it's lush, and then they can have their own apples. In the spring they can enjoy the blossoms. It's just a perfect place for families to have fun together, and no matter what the age of kid, if it's a child and it's a very young child, they just get so much joy out of picking their own apple. But even teenagers have fun trying to find the challenging apple that's up high and use the apple picker that we have to get those, so it's fun for everybody. So one of the problems we've had and why we're trying to fight to survive is not because we don't have like the most amazing apples, but it's because people don't know we exist. The orchard is very much hidden. It's a secret orchard because it's behind a pecan orchard. And nobody knows that they can just drive 5 miles away from downtown Las Cruces and go and pick their own apples. The best thing to do is to bring mosquito repellent, because at different times of the day there'll be some mosquitoes out. Also, if you come out in the middle of the day when it's hot, you'll probably want to wear sunscreen and maybe wear a hat. Sometimes it's also good to wear shoes that are closed, like tennis shoes, because it might be a little bit muddy in the orchard. And I've seen a lot of families that like to bring cameras because they get some really great photos of their kids. We sell our apples here at the orchard. We also sell at farmers markets, and we usually sell on Saturdays on the south side of the market underneath the New America School. And we also sell fresh homemade apple pies, apple bread, and apple cookies, lots of different things that are really yummy. I think it's the people in Las Cruces that make such a difference. I've never been anywhere, and I've traveled all across the United States and also in parts of the world. And I would say that, generally speaking, the people here in Las Cruces are some of the friendliest, nicest people you'll ever meet.